Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mrs Inskeep, and I am reading to you today about two friends. Their names are Frog and Toad. Frog and Toad, they're characters in some books that an author named Arnold Lobel wrote. And the first one I'm going to read to you and show you pictures in is the book called Frog and Toad All Year. There's the picture. The first story is called Down the Hill. Frog knocked at Toad's door. "Toad, wake up!" he cried. "Come out and see how wonderful the winter is." "I will not," said Toad. "I am in my warm bed." "Winter is beautiful," said Frog. "Come out and have fun." "Blah," said Toad. "I do not have any winter clothes." And here's the picture. Frog came into the house. "I have brought you something to wear," he said. Frog pushed a coat down over the top of Toad. Frog pulled snow pants up over the bottom of Toad. He put a hat and a scarf on Toad's head. "Help!" cried Toad. "My best friend is trying to kill me." "I'm only getting you ready for winter," said Frog. Those are two pictures. Frog and Toad went outside. They tramped through the snow. "We will ride down this big hill on my sled," said Frog. "Not me," said Toad. "Do not be afraid," said Frog. "I will be with you on the sled. It will be a fine, fast ride. Toad, you sit in front. I will sit right behind you." The sled began to move down the hill. "Here we go," said Frog. There the two friends are on the sled. There was a bump. Frog fell off the sled. Toad rushed past trees and rocks. "Frog, I'm glad that you are here," said Toad. Toad leaped over a snowbank. "I could not steer the sled without you, Frog," he said. "You are right. Winter is fun." And here, poor, he's all by himself. A crow flew nearby. "Hello, Crow," shouted Toad. "Look at Frog and me. We can ride a sled better than anybody in the world." "But Toad," said the Crow, "you are all alone on the sled." Toad looked around. He saw that Frog was not there. "I am all alone," screamed Toad. There's the first picture, and there's the second picture. He's scared. He's by himself, and he thought Frog was right there with him. Bang! The sled hit a tree. Thud! The sled hit a rock. Plop! The sled dived into the snow. There he is, hitting the tree, the rock, and the snow. Frog came running down the hill. He pulled Toad out of the snow. "I saw everything," said Frog. "You did very well by yourself." "I did not," said Toad. "But there is one thing I can do all by myself." "What is that?" asked Frog. "I can go home," said Toad. "Winter bed may be beautiful, but my bed is better." So he wasn't real keen on that sled ride, was he? There's a picture. Hope you can see that. Okay, the next story in this book is called The Corner. Frog and Toad were caught in the rain. They ran to Frog's house. "I am all wet," said Toad. "The day is spoiled." "Have some tea and cake," said Frog. "The rain will stop. If you stand near the stove, your clothes will soon be dry." "I will tell you a story while we are waiting," said Frog. "Oh, good," said Toad. There they are, getting ready to have some tea. "When I was small, not much bigger than a pollywog," said Frog, "my father said to me, 'Son, this is a cold, gray day, but spring is just around the corner. I wanted spring to come. I went out to find that corner. I walked down a path in the woods until I came to a corner. I went around the corner to see if spring was on the other side. This first picture is Frog and his father. And there he is trying to find the spring around the corner. And was it? Asked Toad. No, said Frog. There was only a pine tree, 3 pebbles, and some dry grass. I walked in the meadow. Soon I came to another corner. I went around the corner to see if spring was there. Did you find it? Asked Toad. No, said Frog. There was only an old worm asleep on a tree stump. Here's a picture, and there's a picture. Hopefully you can see them. I walked along the river until I came to another corner. I went around the corner to look for spring. Was it there? Asked Toad. No, said Frog. There was only some wet mud and a lizard who was chasing his tail. You must have been tired, said Toad. I was tired, said Frog, and it started to rain. Here's some pictures of him trying to find spring again. He's looking. I went back home. When I got there, said Frog, I found another corner in the front of my house. Did you go around it? Asked Toad. I went around that corner too. And what did you see? I saw the sun coming out, said Frog. I saw the birds sitting and swinging in the tree. I saw my mother and father working in their garden, and I saw flowers in the garden. So here poor Frog is looking for spring around all the corners. But he found some different things at his house. You found it, cried Toad. Yes, said Frog. I was very happy. I found the corner that spring was just around. Look, Frog, said Toad, you were right. The rain has stopped. And Frog and Toad hurried outside. They ran around the corner of Frog's house to make sure that spring had come again. There they are, looking for spring around the corner of his house. The next story is called Ice Cream. One hot summer day, Frog and Toad sat by the pond. I wish we had some sweet, cold ice cream, said Frog. What a good idea, said Toad. Wait right here, Frog. I'll be back soon. So Toad went to the store. He brought 2 big ice cream cones. Toad licked one of the cones. Frog likes chocolate best, said Toad, and so do I. So here he is with the 2 chocolate ice cream cones. Toad walked along the path. A large, soft drop of chocolate ice cream slipped down his arm. This ice cream is melting in the sun, said Toad. Toad walked faster. Many drops of melting ice cream flew through the air. They fell down on Toad's head. I must hurry back to Frog, he cried. I don't think he had a good plan there, walking with ice cream on a hot summer day. Goodness gracious. He's not going to have anything left. More and more of the ice cream was melting. It dripped down on Toad's jacket. It splattered on his pants and on his feet. Where's the path? Cried Toad. I cannot see. Got so much chocolate ice cream on him, he can't see where the path is. A frog sat by the pond waiting for Toad. A mouse ran by. I just saw something awful, cried the mouse. It was a big brown thing. Something covered with sticks and leaves is moving this way. Here comes a thing with horns, shouted Rabbit. Run for your life. What can it be? Asked Frog. So I'm wondering what it could be. I think I know, though. I think I know. Frog hid behind a rock. He saw the thing coming. It was big and brown and covered with sticks and leaves. It had 2 horns. Frog, cried the thing, where are you? Good heavens, said Frog, that thing is Toad. Here's the first picture with the 2 ice cream cones as horns on top of Toad's head. And there he is meeting up with Frog. Toad fell into the pond. He sank to the bottom and came up again. Darn it, said Toad, all of our sweet cold ice cream is washed away. Never mind, said Frog. I know what we can do. Frog and Toad quickly ran back to the store. They sat in the shade of a large tree and ate their chocolate ice cream cones together. Okay, this next story is called, I should show you that picture, just a minute. I think that idea was better than walking the ice cream back to Frog because it just didn't get there without being melted. It was too hot. So this next story is called The Surprise. It was October. The leaves had fallen off the trees. They were lying on the ground. I will go to Toad's house, said Frog. I will rake all of the leaves that had fallen on his lawn. Toad will be surprised. Frog took a rake out of the garden shed. So there he is. He's got his rake and he set it over to help his friend clean up his yard. I think they are nice friends to each other. Toad looked out of his window. These messy leaves have covered everything, said Toad. He took a rake out of the closet. I will run over to Frog's house. I will rake all of his leaves. Frog will be very pleased. So Frog ran through the woods so that Toad would not see him. Toad ran through the high grass so Frog would not see him. So each of these two fellows were going to help each other. They were going to help their friend. So they had a good plan. They're going to rake each other's leaves. And they're trying to do it as a secret, too. Frog came to Toad's house. He looked in the window. Good, said Frog. Toad is out. He will never know who raked his leaves. Toad got to Frog's house. He looked in the window. Good, said Toad. Frog is not home. He will never guess who raked his leaves. So he's looking in the window. And he's looking in the window. Okay. Frog worked hard. He raked the leaves into a pile. Soon Toad's lawn was clean. Frog picked up his rake and started home. Toad pushed and pulled on the rake. He raked the leaves into a pile. Soon there was not a single leaf in Frog's front yard. Toad took his rake and started home. Here they are, both of them helping each other, but they don't know it. It's a big secret. A wind came. It blew across the land. The pile of leaves that Frog had raked for Toad blew everywhere. The pile of leaves that Toad had raked for Frog blew everywhere. When Frog got home, he said, tomorrow I will clean up the leaves that are all over my lawn. How surprised Toad must be. So here's the leaves blowing, and here he is looking at his messy yard again. When Toad got home, he said, tomorrow I will get to work and rake all my own leaves. How surprised Frog must be. That night, Frog and Toad were both happy when they each turned out the light and went to bed. They were happy that they had helped each other, but now they both got to rake again tomorrow. They've got to rake their own leaves. So they'll never know that each other had helped, that they had helped each other. Okay, this last story is called Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, Toad cooked a big dinner. He decorated a tree. Frog is late, said Toad. Toad looked at his clock. He remembered it was broken. The hands of the clock did not move. Toad opened the front door. He looked out into the night. Frog was not there. I am worried, said Toad. They sure are good friends. They worry about each other, don't they? Just like you would for your friend. What if something terrible happened, said Toad. What if Frog has fallen into a deep hole and can't get out? I will never see him again. Toad opened the door once more. Frog was not on the path. What if Frog is lost in the woods, said Toad. What if he is cold and wet and hungry? Here's a picture of Toad, or Frog down in the hole, and here's a picture of Toad looking out, wondering where his friend Frog is. What if Frog is being chased by a big animal with sharp teeth? What if he's being eaten up, cried Toad. My friend and I will never have another Christmas together. Toad found some rope in the cellar. I will pull Frog out of the hole with this. He found a lantern. Frog will see my light. I will show him the way out of the woods. So this picture shows the monster with teeth that he thinks is chasing Frog. And now he's got a rope and he's got a lantern because he wants to help his friend. Toad found a frying pan in the kitchen. I will hit that big animal with this, said Toad. All of his teeth will fall out. Frog, don't worry, cried Toad. I'm coming to help you. And Frog ran out of his house. So there he is with his frying pan and his lantern and his rope. He's going to go help his friend. And there was Frog. Hello, Toad, he said. I'm very sorry to be late. I was wrapping your present. You're not at the bottom of a hole? Asked Toad. No, said Frog. You're not lost in the woods? Asked Toad. No, said Frog. You're not being eaten by a big animal? No, not at all. Oh, Frog, said Toad, I'm so glad to be spending Christmas with you. There's a picture of them together that he just found his friend. Toad opened his present from Frog. It was a beautiful new clock. The two friends sat by the fire. The hands of the clock moved to show the hours of a merry Christmas Eve. There they are, staying warm. They're together. They're safe. What a nice story of a friendship between a frog and a toad. I hope you enjoyed this story. This book is at the library. You could come and check it out.